welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Cannabis Show.
Welcome back.
With your host is Dr. Yolanda Henderson and my wonderful co-host,
Hen.
Mr. Henderson. We are, just excited that you all are joining us today, but we do have a little bit of bad news. Another police shooting in the state of Georgia, y'all. This is getting out of hand. I thought we was done. I thought the protest was enough and we were going to be done with this for good. But we're not. We're going to let Mr. Henderson give you all the outlets to watch the show. And we'll show you we'll let you know some information we have coming up.
Manifest TV is where you're enjoying the show.
Yes.
You can catch us on Instagram at manifesttv.status. On Facebook, we're on Status Network LLC. On Periscope, we're on status_network_. On Twitter, we're on status_network_.
That's right.
If you have an Amazon, Fire Stick, or Roku, you can look us up by Status Network, download the app, Manifest TV,
Yes.
or you can look at us on YouTube, Manifest TV.
Yes.
Or if you have an opinion or would like to say anything, you can call us at 470-251-4647.
That's it. All right. Can you give us the number again? Because we want callers to call in today. We want to be proactive and interactive as much as possible. So we want y'all to call in.
470-251-4647.
That's awesome. All right. So we have a couple of topics for today. Again, another police shooting that has taken place. We're talking about the state of Georgia, cannabis, and Black Lives Matter everywhere, all over the world. We have our special guest attorney, Valerie Valapenza, who is going to be with us shortly on. And then we have the COVID, states reopening and going back into full effect. So we're having the rise of the COVID-19, but we'll talk about that again a little later in the show. We having, all the bars, all the clubs, everything has reopened in Georgia.
And it's on and popping.
It's
going
down
too.
in Georgia. It is. It has been a crazy,
since Friday.
Since they opened up Georgia.
Since
right?
Friday,
And
they're
then
wrong.
we have special June birthdays. We actually went to a luau this weekend on Saturday, and so we have a lot of pictures and photos of that luau, and we have some history, some historical events that has taken place. So Tulsa was the place where Black Wall Street. There you go. Black Wall Street was actually the biggest place for Black people to own businesses, and how that was burned down. So last week marked the anniversary of that, and we wanted to talk a little bit about that. Then we have next week being Father's Day. We want to go ahead and start preparing y'all for Father's Day. They said that Mother's Day, we get the whole month for Mother's Day, but I think we beg to differ. We're going to start talking about Father's Day.
I think Father's Day should be celebrated every day.
It is.
If you agree with me, call 470-251-4647.
Yes. And then we have your mom and dad anniversary. We talked about on the show last week, but we're going to honor them some more. And again, the rest of the June birthdays. But we're going to bring on our special guest, Miss Valerie Valapenza, and just talking about all the jobs that she does. She is amazing. She's in all of the industries of cannabis. She has the hemp going on. She's actually my go-to. I mean, she's inside of the normal, the Women of Normal group here in Georgia. She has her business, Forbidden Business. She's a real estate investment agent. She talks about and consults with the cannabis education. She's a licensed attorney in California and in Texas. So if any of my Texan friends need an attorney, call her. She's awesome. She has experience with everything. So I'm going to let her give you what she does and tell her story and introduce herself a little bit more. So Valerie.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you today?
Well, So you did touch on most of the things that I do, and it kind of changes from day to day. Like you said, I've been an attorney for 15 years. I have practiced almost everything that there is, from personal injury to business, corporate, contract, estate planning, criminal law, real estate investments, title issues, and then cannabis and hemp came into my wheelhouse. And at some point, I decided that I'm going to focus more on getting the hemp and cannabis industry up and running. So that's kind of where I've been focusing my attention the last few years.
Okay.
So I am heavily involved in real estate. Here in Georgia, I'm a licensed agent, so I can actually sell. And what I want to do here in Georgia is get some of the infrastructure going for the hemp community. Okay. Because pretty much we're going to need land, whether that's to build a manufacturing plant or to process the plant. So, right. I do quite a bit, but I have a lot of bits of random information in my brain. And like you said, I'm an attorney in California, Texas, still licensed, still practicing. So if you need assistance there, that's go to.
Awesome. So I reached out to you personally for, finding out how to get the land. And I'm sure that you have a lot of information and a lot of connections. So our main thing was getting those connects, getting who had the farms, who wanted to start growing right away here in Georgia. Can you give me some input on what you discovered and how many connects you have? You don't have to tell us all of them, but.
So in Georgia, and actually just because I have been, in different states and different countries, I have random connections everywhere. But I feel that a lot of people in Georgia are coming to me. They have land, they want to farm, they don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And you have those people, then you have people who are looking for land or looking for someone to partner who have money but don't know what they're doing, they don't know how to farm. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a mixed bag of things. I think that, the main issue for me is that we don't have the infrastructure to process the plant. We don't, aside from CBD, there aren't really any processing plant. We can't turn it into hemp paper. We can't turn it into hemp floorboards. We can't turn it into hempcrete or any of the other million things that we can do with it. So bringing some of those jobs to Georgia or Texas, I think is a big issue. Because even if you grow it, what are you going to do with it? You're going to end up having all this extra stuff like they did in Tennessee. I had people from Tennessee trying to help me, coming to me to try to help them find somebody to buy their plant after they had cut it. So, I have developers that I've been talking with in a couple cities because I would like to have a friendly, and I'm talking about hemp because Georgia is way behind on the cannabis, marijuana standpoint. I've been talking to a couple cities so that we can actually maybe get some type of area that has, some assurances that if people are going to invest this money in the industry, we're not going to be attacked by the local, mm-hmm. City government or county government. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah. You have a question?
Yeah. So, what's the process? Now, okay, I got $100,000. I want to grow CBD or grow hemp. Mm-hmm. I live in, 1, 2, 3 state Georgia. What's the first process or the first thing that I need to do with my $100,000? Besides contact the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science to get the education of what it is to actually farm, But
well, you need to contact an attorney so they can make sure they do the paperwork. And like I said, I'm not licensed to practice law in Georgia, but a local attorney or someone who can help you with the paperwork. Because first, from a practical standpoint, is that land cleared? Do you have to knock down 50-year-old trees? How long is that going to take? How much is that going to take? Do you have irrigation? Right. Do you have water rights? Because growing takes a lot of energy, electricity, and a lot of water.
It does.
So, where are you getting that from? So those are considerations that most people don't think about. Can you grow there? Right. What are the zoning issues? Then your neighbors, there's a whole bunch of laws that affect how you affect your neighbors. They can file nuisance claims and all kinds of things that people just don't think about. They think it's very easy to jump in and to grow. And that's assuming that they know how to grow. As I'm sure you teach in your class, the genetics are very different. I mean, how it grows in northern Georgia versus southern Georgia, very different depending on the climate change, the climate and how the THC levels change. So you know, you definitely need to have a license. So you have to be, part of the requirements in Georgia is that you have been a agricultural producer before. Right. So if you are not that, then you have to somehow guarantee that you meet that particular requirement. So, and there's different ways you can do that. You can team up with people who were, and there's a variety of legal ways to do that. But those are very specific. That's one requirement. If you have a felony, forget it. You're not going to be able to get licensed. So there's a lot of different things that you need to take into account. And then if you're probably going to need business partners, because you're not going to know everything there is to do in the industry. So you need to select those business partners and see what they're contributing, because it's going to take more than $100,000 to get your business up and running, even if you have the land.
All right.
So what's the average cost to start up just a small scale operation? What would be the cost, or what numbers have you seen?
Right.
Now I've seen numbers, and I'm not a numbers person. You know, I have a couple CPAs I go to, and I can look at a paper and see if it's kind of in the same ballpark. But a lot of the times, a lot of these numbers just aren't. Realistically, you know, $250,000, $500,000, you know, but it depends too on what you're doing and what the local city will allow you to do. Because if you're building infrastructures, what kind of infrastructures are required, and what meets building and code regulations. You know, you might think you're going to be able to go in there and kind of, you know, do a cheap job of doing this, and then the city might come in and start enforcing the regulations. So, you know, it's very specific to how many acreages you have. You know, it's very specific as to the land, because land, you know, the soil is very different. And, you know, I'm not a farmer and I can't get into all the specifics, but what you're going to need to prep that land, you know, and that's not, I mean, there's so many different requirements that it all varies. It's all very specific to who you are, what you are, where you're doing it, what kind of strain you want to grow. Are you doing indoor, outdoor? You know, if you're doing it for CBD, then you have to make sure that it is, you know, CBD is another issue because of the FDA, but you know, in theory, it has to be safe, right? So you want to make sure that it's not contaminated, assuming that the FDA is not going to come down and lock down all those CBD companies. So, but you can, like I said, it really depends. If you want to do it right, you're looking at quite a bit of money.
Wow.
All right. So
so co-op is the thing.
Yeah, and getting people who want to co-op together. Yeah. So I know you have groups of farmers and CPAs and people who get the job together. I mean, it's going to take more than one person. I mean, have you seen just one person come in and try to do this by themselves?
They do, but like I said, you're going to need a team, because if somebody comes to you and says they can do it all, they're lying. If they're an expert, you better run. If they say they're an expert, you better run. I've been in this industry on the legal side for at least 7 years, and I don't say I'm an expert. Do I know more than everybody else? Right. On the legal side, you know, maybe depends on who I'm talking to. But you know, it changes so quickly, and things are being learned every single day that you need a team. You need an attorney to stay on top of the legal stuff. You need a CPA to stay on top of the, you know, the tax issues. You need a farmer, grower, genetic, a scientist. You know, you need all these people, because it changes so quickly, and what is being discovered is just phenomenal. But you know, you don't have a team, you don't know, and what you don't know is really going to bite you at the end of the day.
Right. So if we had a team, we got together, and we didn't own the land, but there was already a farmer who was tilling the land and growing something else, could we start growing on that land that was belonging to another farmer who was already in the agriculture business?
There are legal ways to do it, yes. Now, I can't advise, but there are legal ways about doing it. And as an agent in Georgia, let's say, you know, I can actually do those land leases where they receive a percentage of the profit. And that's kind of what I'm working on with some developers, is that whether it's a land that needs to be farmed, whether it's a building that needs to be built out, or a manufacturing plant or whatever. You know, these real estate guys, and women, they have this land. They don't mind putting money into building it up if they think they're going to get a percentage of the profits. And so, you know, and instead of having to buy the land and do it all yourself, why aren't you teaming up with the real estate person? You know, sometimes they have money and they just are looking for new opportunities. Sometimes they have land that's just sitting there and isn't being used. So why not, you know, partner with somebody and get those contracts locked in, and that's really what it is. People need to be able to have contracts and understand what everybody's doing, because everybody has opinions. Everyone thinks that they know what they're doing, but at the end of the day, you need to be assigned a responsibility. That is your job.
Right.
And that's it. I don't need you running around doing everything. I need you to do just this. Just fulfill this. I'll get somebody else for that, and we'll all take a decent amount of percentage. We don't need to take 100%.
Exactly.
So yeah,
right.
I mean, you need an extensive team.
Right.
Partnership, you know, however you're going to form it, there's a ton of different ways you can do that legally, but you need a team. And I'm not talking about a standard business team where you have a CPA, an attorney, you know, a handful of people that you need. I'm talking about you need a massive team, because you have large companies that are already in this industry, that have the money, that have 5, 10 attorneys, that have, you know, I mean, you're competing against large companies who are already doing this. So you have to either think outside the box, or you just have to bring everybody together and get them to cooperate, which is the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Right.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, it's hard getting a lot of us together. But so thank you so much. I am going to be in contact with you. What question do you have?
I got one more question that came to us off of Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Did the federal government remove cannabis from a Schedule 1?
Okay, so the legal definition, so there's cannabis and defined as a scientific standpoint. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a legal definition. The Controlled Substance Act basically says, you know, has this definition of marijuana. And marijuana, with the 2018 hemp bill, it pulled out marijuana, any cannabis strain that was under 0.03%, or 0.3%. So hemp, right, anything below 3% is not part of this Controlled Substance Act. The federal government still says marijuana is illegal. So the states, you know, when people are doing this in the states, that's still federally illegal. The state, if they want to come down and seize your assets, can do whatever the heck they want, because federally, the DA can do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah.
You know, they put in before Trump, you know, there were guidelines saying, hey, we're not going to enforce this. We're not going to allow money to, so we can't enforce it. You know, there was things that the federal government was doing to kind of reassure the industry that, you know, we're gonna let the states decide this. But the reality is, especially with the recent administration, they can do whatever they want at any time. If they want to come in, seize the property, throw you in jail, you know, one paper that's not done correctly gives them full authority to do everything. And there's always ways for federal government to kind of get what they need. So.
So it is still a Schedule 1.
Yes. Well, marijuana, anything over 3%.
3%.
But the CBD
is live.
removed.
It's all day long, and you can grow CBD.
Well, the FDA regulates the CBD. So the FDA has indicated that they are. So according to the FDA, the FDA, CBD is legal if it's approved. So there's only a couple drugs, and we can talk about, you know, how those have been the CBD isolates, and then some of the drugs, synthetic drugs. Those are okay. Those have been put in a different category. But once it's consumed for human or animal, it falls under the FDA. And the FDA has pretty much said, this is not okay. We're going to come down with regulations. So they, you know, I have a feeling that they're going to be quite strict on this. Most people, you know, are hoping not. But it's coming. They've just submitted some stuff with the budgeting office. So they're on the move. They're going to start bringing down the regulations. It's not just going to be labeling. You can't, you know, right now you can't say that it's for health issues. You can't even, in reality, you're not even supposed to hint at it. You're not supposed to do testimonials. You know, that's even fine line. So,
wow.
You know, CBD, you know, selling it versus consuming it, two different things. So yeah, the selling part is the part that's the issue with the FDA.
One is FDA and one is Georgia's law or federal law.
You got so hemp and cannabis are different, and those are completely different laws. So with the hemp laws, you have the 2018 Farm Bill, right? The Farm Bill said, hey, USDA and other agencies, you guys regulate this. You do this. So the USDA created their hemp domestic hemp production program plan, whatever. And it tells the states and it tells the individuals how that's going to be done. And that's a whole bunch of restrictions. That's the felony stuff. That's the, you know, there's a ton of restrictions. But that still doesn't, the FDA can still regulate. The FDA still has control of what they can control, just like, the federal government can tax. And the tax issues with cannabis specific issues are different than hemp. But, every government agency will have their say of what it is. Okay. The states are going to have their specific programs, and they're going to be pushing and pulling with the federal government to basically see who wins. So, Georgia's trying to enact this no flower, to outlaw flower in the state of Georgia, whether it's hemp or cannabis. And for me, that's an issue where I think they're going to have issue with that because of interstate commerce. The federal government has said you can't interfere with commerce. So if I have a business and I'm shipping my stuff, you can't interfere with that. You can't do certain things. So it's going to be a lot of technicalities. Yeah, a lot of technicalities. Right. But the laws are not clear. But you have hemp laws, cannabis laws, you have federal laws, state laws, city laws, county laws, you name it. And you pretty much have to abide by everybody's.
Everybody's. And it's, it's making it so hard, especially for minorities. And we're just trying to get some money out of it. We're going to
get you an attorney.
Yeah.
Get you an attorney.
You got to get an attorney. Like. Yeah. Get your group together. Get your money up.
Right. There's a lot of ways you can really screw it up. So to do it right from the beginning is important, because once you've messed up, the consequences can be great. And we already know that they're not going to go after Big Pharma for those consequences, right? They're going to come after the people who probably they shouldn't be coming after. So, there's a lot that you have to abide by. And it's very case specific. People always want this, like, do this plan. I can't tell you, because your specific situation, where you reside, even like what location, can really impact everything you can and can't do. So.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Valerie. Did you have any information that you wanted to share with us on how to contact you?
You can contact me. I think you have my information up, but you can contact me if you're interested in real estate partnerships or deals, or you just want someone to help sell your land or lease your land, or you want to buy a house. Val@emeraldkeys.com. If you want to legal services, info@attorneyval.com. That's probably the easiest way, because my name is spelled differently and it's quite long. So either of those two, and if you're interested in cannabis consulting, www.forbiddenbusiness.com. I have partnerships with people that aren't on the website yet. It's just, some consulting documents, business plans, feasibility studies, all of that stuff. Any of that paperwork, contracts, licenses, that's pretty much what we do. Training, so we have the people. You just need to tell me what you need or what you think you need. So.
All right. Well, thank you. And I got a little hand and feet inside of the real estate myself. I am working on my Georgia's license as well, so I'm going to be joining you here shortly, because having that land and being able to get into the industry will do the business for the Atlanta Academy some justice.
And there are, which with real estate, there are USDA plan loans, and there are veteran loans that you can do, and you can do some farming. There's a lot of things that you can do if you're creative. So you really have to sit down and talk to someone who knows.
Well, good.
We can sit down and talk to you then.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, we're gonna.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk with you soon.
See you later.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right. That was awesome to have her on the show today.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Mr. Henderson, we're going to show this what's going on in Georgia. This is bad. I mean,
Atlanta raw today. It's been raw since Friday night.
Yes. There was a black man
with the shooting of Mr. Rayshard Brooks.
Yeah.
Who fell asleep from what I see. He fell asleep in the Wendy's drive-through.
Yeah.
All right. And had an altercation with the police. Resulted in the man being shot in the back. All right. We got the video. Y'all tell us what y'all think.
Officers were called in response to Mr. Brooks falling asleep in his car while in the drive-through line at a local Wendy's. After a series of questions and administering a field sobriety test, officers attempted to arrest Mr. Brooks. He tussled with the officers and was able to take the taser from one of the arresting officers. As Mr. Brooks ran away, he turned over his shoulder and appears to fire the taser at one of the officers. The officer, in turn, shot Mr. Brooks with his service weapon.
This scene has stayed largely unchanged over the past couple of hours or so.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
That's very controversial type of situation that happened, and I've heard both sides of the discussion.
Yeah.
But give us a call at 470-251-4647. Let us know what you think and how you feel and what your opinion about it is. All right, you got the police chief for the city of Atlanta. She resigned. Erica
She's out of there.
She's hey.
She said, hey.
But she's still working for the city, so she's not gone too far.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've only been living in Atlanta for a year, so I really don't know too much about these people like that.
Right.
But people say, oh man, well, you know, the officer didn't have to shoot the man. He could have did some other things to restrain the man. And then I've heard some conversations say that the man knew he was drunk. He would have still been alive if he just would have took the DUI, got in the police car, rolled down to the station. They would have processed him on a released on his own recognizance on an R&R charge. He would have had to come back to court for the DUI, probably pay a little bit of fine or something. And it really didn't warrant him, you know what I'm saying, fighting back with the officers or, you know, any other things that was seen on the video. So I've been hearing a couple of different sides of the situation, but I can understand both sides of the situation. Seeing that my family is in law enforcement, I can understand that side of the discussion, but I can understand the civilian side of the discussion too. You know, hey man, dude, the Wendy's manager could have knocked on the window and woke the dude up and said, man, get out my drive-through line. You see what I'm saying? That would have made more sense. I'm just saying, people nosy about stuff that they really don't need to be nosy about. And then when it's time for them to be nosy, they'll just rather do something different, all right? We got a problem with police response, respect. We got that kind of problem with the police. If it ain't life-threatening, how about don't call the police?
Right.
How about that?
All right.
Was he in the drive-through or park at Wendy's?
That's what
I think he was
we're
parked.
trying to
Wasn't
figure
he?
out.
No, I've heard that he was in the drive-through. You know what I'm saying? He was actually blocking the drive-through. And so they called the police because the car was in the drive-through.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Now, even still, the manager is well aware of the social situation in this city.
On in the news.
So again, if it ain't life-threatening, stop calling the police for right now. Stop calling the police right now.
Right now,
Y'all people out here calling the police for any and everything. Stop calling them. If the police don't know how to deal with the public in any regard, stop calling the police, right? Because when the police operate, the police You know what I'm saying? They have districts, they have substations, they have places where they patrol and places where they don't patrol.
Yeah.
But if you call them with a 911 emergency, I need somebody right now. What's the dispatch protocol? You just gonna dispatch somebody that ain't even patrolling that area anyway.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
actually,
Do you got a
if he
secret
was
dispatch?
drunk driving though, we gotta look at this.
was.
He was driving,
He was.
y'all. We can't be doing this
was.
because what if some little kids or somebody was driving and he's saying he had his daughter there? I'm just saying I'm not for the police. I'm not for anybody on this one because this was raw. This was because of what's going on in the news already. It's already protest. But the man could have accidentally killed somebody behind the wheel. But to me, he looked like he was in his right state of mind. He kind of
talked to the police. That's what I'm saying. How drunk was he? You know what I'm saying? Now
he knew where he was at. Well, didn't know exactly because he was on the wrong side of town.
He said that he was in that he was off of Old Dixie, and Old Dixie is in Forest Park. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta.
He was at a Wendy's in Atlanta on University in 75, and my man thought that he was in Forest Park.
Not funny.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So was he really that inebriated?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He had a discussion with the officers, full-fledged, wide open eyes. You know what I'm saying? They did the field sobriety test on the dude and everything. Huh? I don't know.
We don't
that
know
part
if
I don't
he
know.
blew in something, or
That
if
part
he
I don't
was
know.
trying to walk the line or whatever, and he was.
Apparently he fell, right? Because when they actually showed the officer's body cam showed the field test. And so, you know what I'm saying, man? My guy was not stumbly drunk.
Video.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't stumbly drunk, like stumbling all over the place about to fall down drunk. But the officer said, sir, is there anything that's prohibiting you from taking this test? How you need to take this test? Dude said, I got on brand new shoes. Then turned around and said, my shoes is too long. All right? So, yeah. So they proceeded to do the up and down, side to side hand test. All right? He passed all that part.
Before they got to go.
Yeah, before he blew. All right? Now, if a person is sleeping in their car, I don't know nobody who sleep when they drunk, going to a drug sleep with their mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? So there had to be a aroma of alcohol on the breath. All right. Dude said he only had one drink. Then after the test, he said he had more than one drink. So there was a lot of inconsistencies going on. Y'all just really got to watch the video.
I'm missing something because I seen the video this morning, and I didn't see the walking thing. I seen him telling them that he had 1.5 margarita. I seen him asking did he want to take the test, the sobriety test. He like, what's that? They like, it's a test to see if you're drunk. He like, I don't know. I'm already telling you I'm drunk,
I need to send you the video we got. I need to send you the video I saw. The video I saw was the whole ordeal from the time the officer walked up to the window to the time that he was shot.
Okay, I gotta go back and look at it all. That's what I was saying when I seen this morning. Because you gotta know the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like we put the other pieces, like what I got in my mind saying this morning. But you need to know the whole thing.
Well, you know, man. Sometimes, unfortunately, because of time restraints, the people in the editing booth don't always got the time to, you know what I'm saying, pull the whole thing together. That's why you gotta, you know, when it comes to these videos these days, I can't just go and believe the first video I see. I need to go and see the whole thing if I can. So I go and search for the whole thing if I can get it. Just so happened with this one, it was available.
Right.
Give you my quick synopsis on that situation, man. I'm with her. I feel like it's I'm kind of all over the place with. I'm with both of y'all. Actually, it's like some pros and cons on both sides. First of all, you know, why you couldn't just send that man home, take him home, let him walk around and come to his sister's house? You know what I'm saying? Then second of all, but then another thing is like, you was DUI. DUI can kill people. You know, will you do it again if I let you walk home? And then we go out to the fact that, okay, you're going for a DUI. Why are you trying to fight the police with all this going on and pull a gun?
So
what do you think was going to happen? Then you go to think, like you said, you got friends in law enforcement, and so do I. Put yourself in that situation. Now, I went through all this. I'm fighting with this man just don't. We on the ground wrestling. It's in the middle of life and death right now. He reaching for my service weapon. He gets away. He pulls something. He start, even if it is, I know it's a taser. If he hit me or my officer with that taser, he down there got our gun. You know what I'm saying? He can.
It's still the officer's weapon. What do you want the officer to
do? The man turned around and fired at the man. I can think of so many things. That one all over the place.
It's a lot of different ways. It's a lot of different ways. So now the mainstream conversation about it is that the officer could have used some other way to restrain the guy.
What was his taser?
But that would have to be of the understanding that this dude is stumbly drunk, because some people, even though they, you know what I'm saying, they're inebriated a little bit, once that adrenaline kick in, they not drunk no more. You see what I'm saying? And they gone in the past.
Just trying to get away.
Would that police officer still have to, you know what I'm saying, hey man, well, we got this man car, we got this man driver's license, he just ran off, we just wait him out till he come back. Now we gonna go ahead and tow the car, which was a rental car, you know what I'm saying? The car wasn't even his real car. He said it was a rental car, you know what I'm saying? And that he was from out of town business. See, it's a lot of stuff that get missed when you just turn it on Fox Sports.
Look at the whole
you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that be missing, all right?
But then,
you know
if he knows what's going on, you got these people that's trying to get recognition now that what's going on.
A lot of people want attention, man. They're crying out for attention. Some people actually want to die suicide by cop. All right, so check this out. We got another video, right? Right on this same conversation, right? Yeah. And here is where the idiosyncrasies lie. Check out this video.
Check it out.
Huh? Okay. Now y'all see how both of them officers is all on top of this dude. No taser pull. Okay.
You're gonna
no taser
get in trouble.
The dude struck the officer. Look at him.
Jerry, they're gonna hurt you. Jerry.
Just watch.
They met him. Now, where was they gun at when he was doing that?
No Jerry, shots fired, no service pieces pulled, no nothing.
Jerry, don't do it.
Jerry, don't do it.
Jerry, don't do it is all he got. And he rolled off. Jerry is in trouble. He ain't gonna get in trouble. He's in trouble right now. Now, here's the thing.
That's what happened.
That would have been, if Jerry would have looked like my skin color, you know what I'm saying, or Jerry would have been any other person of color, whether it be black, whether it be Mexican, all right, now, because the police is going crazy on the Mexicans too, on them Hispanics, all right? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to sound correct, but y'all got to feel me on this, though.
Right.
All right? Now, Jerry just tussled with two law enforcement officers, right? And drove off with the car.
And drove off.
And drove off with the car.
No gunshots fired.
No shots fired. Jerry did not get tased. He beat the police with the baton. Now, what's up with that?
Lord.
What's up with that? See, what's up with that? So now y'all saying one thing, hey man, y'all should respect the law enforcement when they pull you over, show them your ID, and be nice and docile. That Jerry didn't look docile to me. Jerry looked like he was all the way in the raw. You hear me? Jerry was ready to get, you know what I'm saying? And he got, you know what I'm saying? He drove out with the police car. Right. Now, that's all kind of felonies, all right? Just watching just that little short piece of the clip. Yeah. Jerry already committed 100 felonies, all right? But then the officers who allowed Jerry to ride off with a car like that, you see what I'm saying? Nobody that had no conversation with them. Was they put on paid administrative leave? Because as a taxpayer, I pay for that car that Jerry just drove off in. And I pay you a salary to make sure that I'm safe.
Wow.
You didn't make sure that I was safe because Jerry rode off with your car. I'm just saying. So clearly there's favoritism.
I guess the injustice in all of it. The African American versus the whites or whatever, people saying, you know, well, why is everybody in so much upheaval about it? And
this is one of the reasons why people is in upheaval, man. Yeah. Look at him. Dude beat the crap out of that dude, man. Look at him. He got the taser up. And he
hit a woman.
But Jerry literally showed his ass. Jerry showed his ass and got on down.
Wow. It looked like he almost ran over the man.
Look at him. Cop didn't bust no window out on Jerry, but they always be wanting to bust the civilian windows. Yep. Now, But you still can't put all officers in the same category.
Yep.
All right, I do understand that. You know what I'm saying? Not all officers are bad officers. Man, I hate that girl. Not all officers are bad officers, just like not all black people are thugs and criminals. Okay? So somewhere there has to be a total conversation of policing and what it will look like going forward. Right? You want to defund the police? Yeah, back up off the dollars that you're giving to the police some. Hey man, speaking of dollars to the police, did y'all know that the dude that killed George Floyd, not shot him, the dude that put his knee on George Floyd's neck, check this out. He got a pension of $1 million.
$1 million pension.
All right.
He got paid.
Whether he got fired or resigned, the police union in the state of Minnesota has to still pay this man $1 million.
What y'all
Now,
think?
money is the root of all evil. And it certainly is a motivator. You see what I'm saying? If all I gotta do is kill this dude, go serve a year or two in the clink in protective custody more than half of the time for $1 million. You know what I'm saying? How many people wouldn't though? Because it's not his kinfolks. We already be demonized in the news, but we supposed to be talking about cannabis. But sometimes the social issues is kind of just as big as how we advocate for cannabis, right? We advocate big for cannabis. We support cannabis. Now we need to advocate for ourselves and our lives. Not beg for our lives, not grovel for our lives. We need to advocate for our lives, all right? One way to advocate would be to vote. All right, participate in your city hall meetings. All right, when school start back, man, look here, man, all these parents, man, that had to watch their kids, man, y'all need to be at the school board meeting. You see what I'm saying?
PTA.
Y'all need to get involved and know who your politicians is. And check this out. Another thing that I would like for us to stop doing is stop voting people based on their skin color.
All right.
Vote people based on what their policy is and hold them accountable. Accountable.
All right, we got another.
I'm sorry, y'all. I got it.
We must be lit today because I got it.
Y'all really are. Y'all really are. That's a good point, a very good point. I actually charged myself with putting together something next year to help that situation because we can tell them that, but some people want to vote, want to help. They don't know who to vote for. You know what I'm saying? Like when the election came up and I took my mom, that was hard to explain to a few people I did know and looking at the people I don't know. So baby, why mama just vote? So what are we going to do to enlighten people and to explain to them, let them know why they're voting for this person? We need to do something. Other than that, they just going for
We can't leave it up to the politicians to explain themselves no more.
Exactly.
Because see, what politicians do is they just like salespeople. You gonna buy this car, all right? You got this nice used car. You like the way it look and everything. Salesman gonna sell you that car. But what the salesman ain't gonna do is go through that car from front to back, mechanical issues and all, and give you the whole history of this car. You can go online for yourself and you can try to pull a Carfax. But even Carfax is not accurate. I've seen it for myself.
So long story short, you got to do your research.
You got to do your research on your politicians, man. You know, the big push right now is to be counted in the census and everything, you know. Be counted. People say, oh, man, the government just want to know how many of each ethnicity is all this kind of jazz. Man, go make sure that yourself is represented.
That's right. That's right.
All right? Make sure that yourself and your needs is represented and your wants is represented. In an individual household level, in your city level, in your neighborhood level, in your state level. See, you can't trust the politicians to have the best interests in mind for you. All right? Because that's letting the government still control you. All right? Do your research on your politicians and find out what their record is. Man, some of the stuff I read about people, man, was just actually kind of sickening. When you go and see how they vote and what they vote for, it's almost like they just put their hand over their eyes and just push a button, yay or nay, yay or nay. Sometimes they just go straight down the line with a whole bunch of yays and sometimes a whole bunch of nays, and they don't even know. The politicians don't even know what they voting for.
So we have Donald Trump that actually was going to kick off his election on the anniversary of the Tulsa anniversary. And,
Clown.
Well, no, actually on Juneteenth. It was supposed to be on Juneteenth.
Yeah, it was during Juneteenth
in
weekend.
the Tulsa area.
Yeah.
And so they had a lot of lawmaker friends, his politician friends.
His partners told him that ain't no good idea,
That's
bro.
not a good idea.
You know
so
what I'm
he's
saying?
going to change the date.
So, and then too, that lets you know that they are aware of our history.
Oh, yeah.
Just as much, and even so that we need to be aware of our
own history. Because a lot of people don't know about Tulsa.
Man,
a lot of people
Tulsa
did not know that Tulsa was Black Wall Street.
Tulsa was the Atlanta of the back in the day. All right, you know what I'm saying?
Sure
black
was.
banks, black business owners,
Yeah.
black folks live good, they
Yeah.
dress good, black boutiques, black dollars was in heavy circulation in that joint.
Yeah.
Them folks bombed that joint.
Right.
And they talking about riots now. Oh no, you ain't seen nothing like the Black Wall Street riot. Go Google that joint before you get to talking about, oh yeah, protests and riots ain't never solved nothing. Go see how they destroyed Tulsa.
So with the COVID, we got over 56,000 cases that have hit the Georgia area, and they are not showing us the recovered amount. So it's a lot of people that are initially recovering.
A lot of
since
people.
There's only been 2,400 and 36 or 46 deaths in Georgia so far. But, you know, there are things that you can do from what we're saying. This is not CDC approved, but it is helping to keep your immune system up. And scientists are telling us to keep our immune system boosted. And so we have told you those ways in our past shows. Vitamin D is great for your immune system. Vitamin C is going to help kill off viruses. We're going to have your sea moss that's going to have all of your essential vitamins and nutrients in it. We're going to have your CBDs, which are great immune system anti-inflammatories. We're going to get your elderberry. Your elderberry is going to be a great autoimmune our immune system booster, and it's going to be great for your body and overall health. We have for respiratory problems, we have, you know, having a diffusing your essential oils, good for breathing, like your lavender and like your oreganos and things like that. We also have the oregano oil drops now that you're able to get for your respiratory system. And then we have for stomach problems, we have your peppermint oils that you can diffuse as well for your digestive, and making sure you're on a good probiotic. If you don't know what probiotics is, give me a call. I'm also doing testing so that you can find out what is your body is lacking in your system, to be able to know what you need, because all vitamins are not made the same. So some people can say, well, I've been taking vitamin D, I've been taking this vitamin, but your body may not be able to digest it properly. So you may have gastrointestinal issues. You might have some things that by taking it by mouth or sublingually, you're not getting all the benefits. So you might need to take an IV vitamin, and they do have those, and we will be getting that up shortly with the Holistic Health and Wellness Clinic that I am opening. I'm going for my building space tomorrow. Hopefully that goes great for next week, and then you'll be able to come out and get that testing in the state of Georgia and Atlanta, and hopefully in other states as well, working with my colleagues. So I'm excited about that. Also, if you need CBD oil, please contact me for that. Any questions?
Nope. Hey, man, as this joint get ready to open back up,
it's already open.
Y'all be safe, man. Tomorrow gonna be crazy. The next 2 weeks, if your city is full-fledged all the way open, I think Tennessee is at phase 3. We at all the way open.
If we can go through those pictures too. We got some photos we're gonna talk about real quick.
Oh yeah, the photos from yesterday. Yeah, we had a good time yesterday. We was chilling. Look at your boy.
There you
was chilling yesterday at the spot.
That's the scan for the testing for your
see
body. If you need any type of vitamin deficiencies, we have that. So this is our holistic chart. This talks about everything being holistic. So we'll have that next week. Boss Ladies, Lala's
Luau party. That's where we went to
we were
yesterday.
at yesterday. So if you didn't
live.
RSVP, we're
March
having a
on
march
Atlanta.
on Atlanta, June the 19th. That's Juneteenth. Come out, support.
right.
Big Shot
Big Shot
Entertainment.
Entertainment. We got some big things coming through with Big Shot Entertainment right there. We got a citywide talent show coming through. We got a State of Colorado proclamation on deck commemorating Hemp Week.
Yep. Colorado.
NTH Credit. If you need your credit fixed, trying to get you a house or a car, new credit card, holla at your boy, www.nthcredit.net. Special thanks to our guests,
Yes,
our
thank you,
attorney
Miss
guests.
Valerie.
Appreciate you.
Coming on the show today.
Hey, it was real nice talking to everybody again,
Yeah.
and thank y'all for coming on in. Thank our viewers. Thank everybody who watched us on Facebook, everybody that watched us on Instagram.
Yeah.
If in case you missed us, you can go and find me on your Roku stick. You can go and find her on your YouTube. We everywhere.
We everywhere. Thanks for the people who supported the party yesterday. Check us out on Instagram. All right. Peace. Till next week.
We're now enrolling for Saturday 5-week comprehensive medical cannabis courses. Call us today at 404-631-6360 for more information.